Leah and I are going to make pumpkin pie today. And they're both very excited about this. Are you excited? Sam's rolling around on the ground. The recipe that we're gonna use is super simple, and it's made from scratch out of stuff that you probably have around the house, if you're like me. We use sweet potato instead of pumpkin because the sweet potato is just so easy to prep up, and by using the sweet potato you don't have to add as much sugar to the final recipe. Last night I microwaved a couple sweet potatoes and cooked them up, and I de-skinned them and got them into this bowl here to cool down overnight so that it was nice and cool for Leah to work with. You don't want it super hot because you're going to be putting eggs into it, and you don't want the eggs to cook when they hit the sweet potato, so it is a good idea to cook these ahead of time. But this is also a great recipe if you have like leftover sweet potato. Let's say you roasted some for a meal and you didn't really add anything extra to it. I'm not actually going to use a recipe. This is something that I used to cook a few years ago, and I just kind of would wing it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add spices and sugar to it to get it the flavor that I like. Add some cream or milk to it to thin it out so that it has a good texture, good consistency to it. And then I'm going to take eggs and add them just to be a binding agent. I know I'm not like giving amounts, but it's really easy for you to just kind of do this with what you have in the house to the flavor that you like, and not having the recipe makes it simple. It's really hard to mess up on this one. So what we're gonna do first is we're going to add spices. Okay, no, don't tip it. We do it like this. Okay, and shake some in there. This is cloves that we're using.
What you did?
Put some in. I want to see how much is in there.
And what, Mommy?
I know. That's about a teaspoon. And there we go. Another teaspoon. We have a lot in here. We have enough to do 2 pies. Okay, here. You take this. Okay. Okay, not quite as much on the nutmeg. Probably gonna put about a teaspoon of nutmeg in. Probably, I like cloves, so probably want about a teaspoon of cloves too. Now we need the sugar.
Yeah. Wait, did you already?
Okay. The sweet potato is pretty sweet, so you really don't need that much sugar. You know, you can even put the spices in and the cream in and then taste it and see if it's sweet enough. But I want a little bit more. Oh!
Sorry.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
It'll be fine. Yeah.
It's okay.
You know, she probably put in about a half cup there. I would have put in about a quarter of a cup and then tasted it, but you know, whatever. Put some cream in here. I'm actually using cream because I don't have any milk left in the house. I would have normally used milk.
I help you.
Okay, that's enough.
No egg?
Alright, and I am going to stir this with an immersion blender just because it'll chop up any of the bits and get it really smooth. But you could also use like a potato masher, or like even a fork would work for stirring this. But I'm lazy and I have this, so works for me.
Dad.
My dad.
Yeah. Oh no.
Okay. The goal here is to get it nice and creamy. You just kind of add the liquid till it's to the right creaminess. Probably put in half a cup, maybe less, like a third of a cup. But I need a little bit more here. The richer your ingredients, the richer the flavor's gonna be. Using the sweet potato instead of the pumpkin already gives it like a lot of richness to the flavor. So that's why you can get away with using kind of just like milk and eggs and... Leah, stop that. You know, if you want this to be like next level decadent, instead of the cream and the sugar, you can use condensed milk, the sweetened, you know, in the can stuff, but I don't buy that. I don't have it in the house, so like literally Leah, we watched a video on making pie and Leah's been after me to make pie, so we're just taking what we have and making something here. The reason why I didn't add the eggs when first stirring it is because once I have it looking like what I think is gonna be what I want, at this point I can taste it and there's nothing that's gonna be an issue for eating. Tastes pretty good.
I want to taste that.
Okay, you can stick your finger.
It tastes good, Mommy.
What do you think? Should we add more or something? I think it needs more cinnamon. Oh, really? No. No, there's still some. So at this point, I'm pretty much happy with that. I'm not gonna taste it again. So I'm gonna add the eggs in. For this, I'm gonna do 3 eggs because I have enough for a couple pies there. You could add more. Like basically, I'm only using 3 eggs because I'm being cheap about it. And also, like pumpkin pie, it doesn't have to be like a really firmly set type thing to be good. So I'm gonna throw that in there and then stir it in again with the immersion blender, and then the filling is completely ready. Okay, no, not into the big bowl. We're gonna do it into a separate one.
Sorry.
At this point, it can be baby food.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. You can see nice and creamy. Looks exactly like pumpkin pie filling. Super easy to make though. Next, we're gonna make our pastry. It's super simple to make homemade pastry. We're just gonna follow the directions on the package. I have a pastry blender because I actually make pastry often because we do a lot of quiches. But the knives work. It's don't be intimidated by pastry. It's a really easy thing to make. How many pies are we gonna make?
3.
3? How many?
3.
Okay.
1, 2.
Okay, so we're gonna make 2 pies.
Is it a butter, Mommy?
It's what?
It tastes.
It's not butter. It's short.
That tastes like butter.
It's fat. Butter's fat, but I don't think it tastes like butter.
It tastes a little bit.
Tastes a little bit like butter?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will agree with that. Tastes a little bit like butter.
I'm set up, Mommy, and eat pie. That's how I eat.
So I have my pie shells all done up here, and I'm gonna take the dough and I'm gonna throw it in there, and then Leanne and I are going to make some fancy little decorations to go on top because, kids like to do that kind of thing. So I'm gonna fill it up. These will puff up a little bit, but it's pretty thick. It's not really gonna boil over. These pie shells are fairly small. We had pumpkin pie in these shells, or these pans, I should say. Earlier this week we bought some from the store, and she was all excited to reuse them, but normally I use a reusable pie pan, and I like that because they make quite a bit bigger of a pie. These are actually pretty small. Yeah, it's not bad. Anytime I make pies or quiches, I always make 2. A pastry recipe, I never put a top on, and pastry recipes are always for a top and a bottom. So you get enough to do two pie shells, and it makes a lot of a mess. And I don't like cleaning, so if I do 2, then I got extra. You can always throw these in the freezer after they're cooked, and then they reheat up good, or just leftovers. I'm gonna bake these at 350, and while it's preheating, Leah and I are gonna make some decorations to go on top.
What?
Pastry is best the less you handle it, but to do these, hey, don't touch. But to do these little things, you know, you get the leftovers. I actually have a ton of leftover on this, so I might actually make like a crust to do a like galette. Also, get some greens out of the garden and just cook something up. So there, and then you press down. Okay, and then reach up. Okay, yep, pick it up. You got it? Yep. Perfect. And then you just sit it on there. Do you want 2? Or do you want one that has 3? We'll do this one right in the center with 1. Okay. And then you have 3, so you can space them out, right? Is that your pie?
Yeah.
Did you make it fancy?
Yeah.
Yeah, they look pretty good. Now all we have to do is bake them, right? There we go, all finished.
Patty pie. Not it. I said patty pie.
You need some pumpkin pie?
Yeah. I see you take that side and I put it on plate and I it's choked out. I see.